So U.S. Senator Bob Menendez has been arrested for bribery charges by the Justice Department. Now, this is crazy because it's not the first time he's getting arrested for bribery as a sitting U.S. Senator. Check it out. So, 8 years ago, the Obama administration brought corruption charges against then New Jersey U.S. Senator Bob Menendez, who was also a Democrat. Here are the facts.
Private jets, weekend getaways in the Dominican Republic, and hundreds of thousands of dollars in campaign contributions. This is the evidence prosecutors plan to use against Senator Bob Menendez when his public corruption trial kicks off on Wednesday.
I know I have done nothing wrong.
The New Jersey Democrat has pleaded not guilty to 12 counts of corruption, including bribery and fraud.
Prosecutors at the Justice Department don't know the difference between friendship and corruption and have chosen to twist my duties as a senator and my friendship into something that is improper.
But federal prosecutors will try to convince 12 jurors in New Jersey that the senator accepted money, luxury hotel stays, flights on private jets, and other perks from his longtime friend and campaign contributor, Dr. Salman Melgen, in exchange for political favors. They point to contemporaneous emails, resort records, flight records, and credit card and bank statements. According to court filings, Menendez allegedly helped Dr. Melgen's foreign girlfriends obtain travel visas to the U.S. Prosecutors also claim the senator urged federal officials to resolve a multi-million-dollar dispute Melgen had with Medicare over his billing practices, including calling upon then-Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid to pressure the Obama administration to help.
The bottom line is all of those smears are absolutely false.
In April, Melgen was found guilty of Medicare fraud in a separate case. Now Menendez, with the help of veteran defense attorney Abby Lowell, is fighting back against this narrative of corruption.
For nearly 3 years, the Justice Department has pursued allegations based on smears launched by political opponents trying to silence me. Now they have laid out their case. We will finally have an opportunity to respond on the record, in court, with the facts.
Prosecutors may have a tough road ahead of them. They have to prove the senator had a corrupt intent and must also show that all of the actions Menendez allegedly took on Melgen's behalf were official acts under the federal bribery statute. Menendez's case will be the first major test of the bribery law since the Supreme Court tossed out the conviction of former Virginia Governor Robert McDonald last year. Now, Jake, last week, the trial judge in this case rejected an attempt by the senator to try to get the trial schedule altered so that he could participate in critical Senate votes, such on issues like the Affordable Care Act or tax reform. And so because of this judge's ruling, it may very well be the case that Menendez actually misses several days of this trial.
See, Senator Bob Menendez went to trial, and here was the result of those charges.
I can truly thank you.
That was Senator Bob Menendez's message to jurors who walked out the back door of the federal courthouse in Newark free at last after 11 weeks of work.
We just had enough of being deadlocked in downtime.
The jury of 7 women and 5 men discussed 9 weeks of testimony and documents in the bribery trial of Senator Menendez and co-defendant Dr. Salman Melgen, a man he called his friend.
Yeah, I thought they were friends.
Ed Morris, an equipment manager from Roxbury Township, New Jersey, says the jury split 10 not guilty, 2 guilty on all 18 counts.
We didn't think that there was enough going on there in the case to convict them.
Certain elements of the FBI and of our state cannot understand or even worse accept that the Latino kid from Union City and Hudson County can grow up to be a United States senator and be honest.
This jury could not, would not, and did not return a verdict that validated any of the government's charges.
So Bob Menendez was free and clear, and the government didn't bring the charges again because they had lost so badly when it came to the jury. Again, it was 10 for not guilty and only 2 for guilty. And since it was an election year, because of the acquittal, he easily won another term as the senator from the state of New Jersey.
We do have a result in the Senate right now. It comes from the state of New Jersey. Democrat incumbent Bob Menendez, we project, ABC News can project that Bob Menendez is going to hold on to his seat in the Senate. We're going to bring the man who knows more about New Jersey than anybody else in the room right now, the former governor, Chris Christie. Menendez, that was tough for him. Of course, he was indicted on corruption charges, not convicted. It was a nasty race, but he's going to win it relatively easily.
Yeah, winning as a Republican in New Jersey is hard. It's really hard, George. There's 930,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans in New Jersey, and it's not easy. And Bob Huggins spent, I think, in excess of $35 million in that race.
Pharmaceutical executive.
And the interesting thing is that I've heard lots of people say they didn't like Menendez, but they didn't like the president more. And that's what really, I think, happened in New Jersey is that Trump headwind in New Jersey is probably as hard as it is any place in the country.
And that's why that could be one of the states where Democrats hope to pick up a lot of House seats.
I think they will pick up some House seats there tonight, George, for sure.
Chris.
And George, I just one note on Menendez. This is incredible. He's got a 33% favorable rating, and he won. Two-thirds of the state view him unfavorably. Only 27% of the state says he has high standards for ethics, and he won.
Now, think about this. 65% of the voters in the state of New Jersey viewed him unfavorably, and he still won. Now, this was because in New Jersey, it's an extremely heavily Democratic state, and they hated Trump more than they hated Menendez. So Bob Menendez went on to serve another 6-year term as U.S. Senator from the state of New Jersey, and he became chairman of one of the more powerful committees on Capitol Hill, the Foreign Relations Committee.
Hi, I'm Senator Bob Menendez, Chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and it is my pleasure to once again wish all of you assembled here and around the world happiness, prosperity.
Now, the feds have a 90%, and I want to say that again, 90% conviction rate when defendants choose to go to trial. And Senator Bob Menendez beat those odds. Think about it. 9 out of every 10 trials, the government wins. So Senator Menendez now one of the most powerful men on Capitol Hill in one of the more powerful positions on the Hill. He has a new wife, and he has an acquittal for corruption. You would think that with all of that, he'd be more careful in taking gifts than handing out favors. But the government seems to believe that his acquittal made him even more confident in being paid to play. Here's what the government is alleging he did now.
Today I'm announcing that my office has obtained a 3-count indictment charging Senator Robert Menendez, his wife Nadine Menendez, and 3 New Jersey businessmen, Weil Hanna, Jose Uribe, and Fred Davies, for bribery offenses. The investigation that led to these charges has been run out of the Southern District of New York. The indictment alleges that between 2018 and 2022, Senator Menendez, the senior U.S. Senator from New Jersey and the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and his wife Nadine Menendez, engaged in a corrupt relationship with Hanna, Uribe, and Davies. The indictment alleges that through that relationship, the senator and his wife accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars of bribes in exchange for Senator Menendez using his power and influence to protect and to enrich those businessmen and to benefit the government of Egypt. The indictment alleges that Hanna, Uribe, and Davies provided bribes in the form of cash, gold, home mortgage payments, a low-show or a no-show job for Nadine Menendez, a Mercedes-Benz, and other things of value to the senator and his wife. First, the indictment alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence, including his leadership role on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, to benefit the government of Egypt in various ways. Among other actions, Senator Menendez allegedly provided sensitive, non-public, U.S. government information to Egyptian officials and otherwise took steps to secretly aid the government of Egypt. We also allege that Senator Menendez improperly pressured a senior official at the U.S. Department of Agriculture to protect a lucrative monopoly that the government of Egypt had awarded to Hanna, a lucrative monopoly that Hanna then used to fund certain bribe payments. Second, the indictment alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence to try to disrupt a criminal investigation and prosecution undertaken by the New Jersey Attorney General's office related to an associate and a relative of Uribe. Third, the indictment alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence to try to disrupt a federal prosecution of Davies in the District of New Jersey in two ways. First, by seeking to install a United States attorney who he thought could be influenced with respect to Davies, and second, by trying to influence that office to act favorably in Davies' case. And as we allege in the indictment, the senator agreed to do these things and use his power in this way because Hannah was paying bribes, because Uribe was paying bribes, and because Davies was paying bribes. Fortunately, the public officials the senator sought to influence did not bend to the pressure. That's a good thing. Now, as part of this investigation, special agents with the FBI executed search warrants on the residence and safe deposit box of Senator Menendez and Nadine Menendez in New Jersey. When they got there, they discovered approximately $500,000 of cash stuffed into envelopes and closets. Some of the cash was stuffed in the senator's jacket pockets. And some of the envelopes of cash contained Davies' fingerprints or Davies' DNA. That's not all. Agents also discovered a lot of gold that was provided by Davies and Hannah. And the FBI, of course, found the Mercedes-Benz that Uribe had provided them.
So Senator Bob Menendez was acting like a Bond villain. So Senator Menendez's claim is that this is a witch hunt from a corrupt government, and since he's a Democrat, he's being targeted because he's also Latino. I am not joking. He is saying that he's being targeted because he's Latino, and this is a government conspiracy. Listen to it yourself.
Excuse me, Anna. We know why this is happening according to a statement from him. These people are doing it because he's Latinx.
Okay, so let me give you the statement. Let me give you the statement. Because look, I gotta be honest. This has now become corporate Democrat 101 to provide cover for any wrongdoing, and it really grosses me out. So this is what he said in a statement in response to the indictment. Those behind this campaign simply cannot accept that a first-generation Latino American from humble beginnings could rise to be a United States senator and serve with honor and distinction. No.
So now this is insane. TYT, a left-wing identity politics loving show, is laughing at Bob Menendez's attempt to use identity politics to shield himself from criticism.
I just love the fact that he used his identity to defend himself, as if that matters at all.
Yeah, it's tough because it's impossible to commit corruption while also being a member of the Latinx community. Everybody knows that. And oftentimes liberals and centrists, they talk about a loss of or a lack of decorum that we have in government, in media. And I tend to agree with him. This guy didn't even have the decency to have a bag man. He's actually receiving the bribes and having his wife negotiate on his behalf. It's kind of crazy.
So, is this a political hit job? Don't forget, this is the same argument that Trump is using, and other politicians who get indicted, they all say the same thing. George Santos, for instance, he's saying his is a political hit job. Now think about this. If this was a Republican Justice Department, would you also think this was a political hit job? Because I think that argument could be made. Hey, there's a Republican, they want his seat in New Jersey, so this is a political hit job. Now, to be fair, if you think this is a political hit job against Bob Menendez, then you should also give credence to Trump's argument that those prosecutions are political hits against him, and vice versa, right? Bob is running for re-election. So why are these charges coming out right now? Why so close to an election year? They just want him out of office. Who is they? The deep state, the ones who were after him 8 years before this, and all because he's Latino. I know it sounds crazy when it comes from the other side, but these are Bob Menendez's arguments. So let me know how you feel in the comment section. Let me know if you think these charges are legitimate. You see the evidence, they've laid it all out. Does the government have a case? Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, do all that great YouTube stuff. My name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'll see you next time. Peace.